Welcome to PhD with Woman on It, Hack the Future. My name is Beata Young, and today's PhD Positivity Hacks delivered will be by our guest, Sohaila Diab. Topic AI for Good, leveraging technology to solve real-world problems. Episode 119 starts here. Let me remind you, this is a grassroots community that focuses on women on IT, an inclusive forum of women in technology, startups, and female leaders who are supported by men as well. And I bring heart to that hustle because empathy is my motto. And empathy is critical when you are leveraging technology to solve real world problems. Before we start introducing our lovely guest and chatting about the great ways technology can help you, let me just say kudos to the CEO of Global Blockchain Business Council, Sandra Raw, on her remarkable keynote speech at Bermuda's Tech Summit in 2023. We wish you all the best. Congratulations also to Paulette Watson, founder and managing director of Academy Achievers, on completing her book, She Disrupts, which provides valuable insights on the status of industries and the inclusion of Black women and girls. Well done, Paulette. We can't wait to read your book and invite you to our PhD. Now, let's go back to our topic, AI for Good, leveraging technology to solve real-world problems. In a rapidly evolving digital landscape, embracing AI goes beyond merely enhancing convenience or efficiency. Artificial intelligence has the power to address global challenges and transform lives. Our guest, Sohaila Diab, a senior computer science student specializing in AI at Cairo University, is a seasoned data scientist currently interning with the digitization team at P&G. In this episode, Sohaila shares her insights on how AI can be harnessed to address pressing real-world issues, from sustainability to healthcare. She will show us how AI can be a driving force for positive change. As always, we encourage you to speak to us, ask a question, reach out to us during or after our live stream. So, Sohaila, where in the world are you joining us from?
Hello, Beata. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here with you. I'm currently in Egypt, specifically in Cairo.
Excellent. What's the weather like with you?
It's kind of sometimes it's pretty hot. Sometimes at night it's very cold, but at the moment it's pretty good.
Well, beautiful location of Egypt and beautiful. We know that there's been so many great developments and culture developments. And also, we know that Egypt is thriving when it comes to technology. So hopefully we will learn more from you because we didn't have that many guests from your part of the world. And I just wanted to ask you, remind our viewers how we met first.
So we actually met through Women Tech Makers. It's like a community made by Google where we aim to help not just women, but basically anyone in the field of tech by doing events, talks like this one, and basically just doing anything to help people get into tech. And we actually met through the introductory stream at Women Tech Makers. We met through there. We've had like a small chat, and after that, I learned about the PhD and Positivity Hack Delivered, and I've been watching it since then. And it's very exciting to be here with you and being at talking here at PhD. So,
Well, I'm very grateful, Sohaila, because you were one of the few ladies who responded and wanted to appear on the program because many of our ladies from Women Tech Makers, hello, if you're watching us, were not feeling confident enough to speak up or speak during this kind of venue or this kind of stream. So I'm really grateful and kudos to you, Suhalia, for being on the show. We have greetings from Jane. Hello, Beata and Sohaila. Looking forward for today's topic. Well, we are looking forward to hear your questions, Jane. And Natalie says, good evening, Beata and Sohalia. Thank you, Natalie. Lovely to see you too. So, we want to talk about AI for good. I know that you have some projects on mind when you're talking about solving the global issues. However, I wanted to ask you what kind of work you're doing during your internship by bringing digitization in the corporate world.
So, being at P&G, I've come into contact with how FMCG companies work and the manufacturing part, since I work mostly like in the manufacturing plant. So, I've been introduced to that business and generally how AI is used. It's quite new. AI is quite new, and especially to huge corporates in the manufacturing world. So what I work on is basically introducing not just AI, just the like digitization, making data more understandable, not just having just data without information, being working on things like dashboards to help the upper management make more data-driven decisions, since data right now is very important. We have lots and lots of data, not just in the manufacturing world, just everywhere. We have so much data, and we need to learn how to leverage that data to be able to make decisions and drive decisions. So this is basically what most companies are heading towards, to use that data to make decisions, to get a clear view of how their company is going, of how their KPIs are doing, and also just for forecasting, for example, they want to predict how they're going to do maybe in the next year, maybe next month. So this is what I'm doing. If I had to sum it up, it's basically easing the access of data to not just the managers as well, to people working on the lines, creating dashboards and so on.
Fantastic. Well, I guess it leaves our audience to know how you secured that internship.
So I actually secured it by applying to the P&G career site. Um, and I've went through a couple of rounds of interviews, 3 rounds of interviews, and securing this internship, actually, P&G also focuses a lot on not just your technical skills, on how you are as a person and how you're able to learn. So this is something that that I've tried to focus on a lot during my interviews, and yeah, securing it. I've actually had a couple of internships as well and offers, and basically to get an internship you need to keep applying. You need to be resilient. Obviously I've got a lot of rejection letters before that, and that's all right. You just need to keep going. It's just how it is. And you need to think of how you can improve your like, maybe if you're getting rejection letters, you need to think, okay, how can I improve my resume? What am I missing? And yeah, it's not something that happens suddenly. It's a lot of rejections, a lot of nights practicing the interviews, a lot of nights practicing my not just coding skills also, but my soft skills and working on them, and so on. Yeah.
So, in other words, you had to gather A lot of data about how to get the job, how to secure the job, how to do well during the interviews, and then apply your human intelligence to get to where you are. Jokes aside, I wanted to ask you, how do you see AI can solve problems? Why do you see the huge potential with AI?
So AI, there's a lot of room for AI. AI is we're actually surprisingly we're still at the first um part of AI. We're still not really the world isn't really that deep into AI. There's still a lot of room for improvement, but there are so many things AI can help with, and AI is a tool that can help us. It's not something that can replace what we do. It's something that's a tool that could help us. And I actually see AI helping in almost all of the industries. It has potential in all of the industries, whether it's healthcare, manufacturing, art. It also helps in creativity. It's basically it helps in all of the industries. And what we need to know is how to leverage it and how to use it as a tool. And a thought that's been going on for a bit is that AI is going to replace human jobs and replace what we do. And while I agree, it will some jobs could be replaced by AI. Like I think about it's by 2025, about 8 million jobs will be replaced by AI. However, there will be 9 million jobs that will be created due to AI. So the most important thing is to leverage AI because it has the potential to help us in so many things and in almost all of the industries. And we need to be open to embrace it and use it to help us.
Mm. Well, I believe there are some tools that anybody can use. You don't need technical background. Can you give us some examples? What are the tools that, let's say, a student could use for their learning, for their studying?
So we've all heard obviously about ChatGPT. It's something I also personally use to help me either with getting understanding concepts more clearer, helping me with understanding some code. So ChatGPT has a lot of uses, not just for students, almost anyone. You could ask it to simplify some concepts that you don't understand. You could ask it to some basic things. You can even ask it to create like a vacation plan for you. This is something that I've seen some people do. You can tell it, for example, I'm going on a 1 week vacation to Turkey. Uh, Write me a plan for that vacation, and actually gives you a very specific plan. And this is something that we could use it for. And as for students, they could use it also to learn some improve their languages. They could use it as like kind of like a chatbot, something to chat with and have a conversation with to improve their English and their typing, and also for coding, debugging code. You have an error in the code that you don't quite understand or you're trying to understand. You could ask ChatGPT to help you. And it's also not just ChatGPT. There are some other applications that can help you. Something like Duolingo. It could help you with the languages. It could listen sometimes to your pronunciation. This is a language learning app that also uses AI. And there are many other apps as well that you could use. There are also apps that you could use to track your health. And the smartwatches, they also check your health and uses AI. So AI can also be used in the health part. Um, Adding to that, there is also it could help you with math, something that I've used sometimes as a website. If I remember correctly, it's called Wolfram Alpha. Um, You could take a picture. There's an application that you can take a picture of the math equation that you're trying to solve, and it helps you solve it with the steps. And this was actually very helpful to understand because sometimes you don't really find the answers that you need online. Sometimes it takes a lot of time to search. So it can be used to save a lot of time. It could also be used to save um, a lot of explanations. Um, Another thing, one more thing actually, is it could help you actually with interviews. There is something called Interview Warmup, which is made by Google. It could help you practice your interviews. It's actually a website that it has some questions. For example, introduce yourself. And you will actually talk with your voice, introducing yourself, and it understands what you're saying. And it gives feedback for you and it tries to like segment what stuff you need to focus on, what stuff you've nailed. So it could actually also help you with your interviews. And there's so many endless things AI could help you with. We just need to be able to embrace it and use it to help us with our tasks.
Fantastic. Well, I hope we can follow through with some of the links here. We will plaster them, and I'm sure you can also reach out to me or Sohaila Diab. And after the show, we can direct you to these useful tools. So, Sohaila, I wanted to ask you about the AI for good in terms of ChatGPT, everybody knows pretty much. If you're doing some social media content, it's very useful. If you're doing your it's very useful. Or even a thesis, it's also can replace a lot of human intelligence. However, what are the projects that could inspire you, or our viewers, or our listeners? The projects that have got a great potential in the future in terms of artificial intelligence.
Projects maybe related to like how solving environmental problems, perhaps.
Absolutely.
So there are actually a lot of areas where you can apply AI, and very crucial areas, something like disaster prediction. An issue that everyone obviously noticed is sometimes there are unexpected floods that happen. Sometimes there are earthquakes that happen, and we're not always prepared for that. We don't know; it just happens so suddenly. And sometimes you do know, but like using things like satellites and the traditional methods, but sometimes it's a bit too late. And AI could actually help us with this. AI could use the data of uh, like the ongoing environmental data and your spatial data to be able to predict if if there's an earthquake, if there's a flood. So it could help with the environmental damage or environmental disaster. So this is actually something that I feel that it's very important and that we need. And Google actually has been working on that. It's been working on flood prediction, and it basically uses AI to forecast if a flood will happen up to 7 days before it happens. And this is applied, if I'm correct, it's applied in India and Bangladesh, and it uses models that predicts, for example, it looks at the data of the water flowing in the river, and it also looks at the what areas will be affected and what's the water level will be, and it uses that to alert people of the disaster. So this helps the government. This helps the first aid take some precautions. People will know about that. They'll know when to evacuate. They'll know that they need to get their safety kits and all of that. So this is very helpful in the to be able to help us, avoid these natural disasters. And yeah, this is one of the very important things. Beata, I think your voice is not clear. Can you
I unmuted. I'm sorry about that.
hear me?
Clearly, I am not on autopilot. I'm not using AI to help me chat to you today. However, I wanted to greet some of our viewers. We have Mary who says, "Hello, ladies. Interesting topic tonight. Looking forward to learning more about AI from Sohaila." Indeed, Mary, thank you very much. You can ask your questions regarding AI. And we have a question from Olga Vasina. Fascinating discussion, Sohalia. What sorts of jobs is AI likely to create?
So there are actually many jobs that could create. Something that's pretty new is data scientists. Um, how to data scientists basically learn how to use the data to help the business, and this is a rising job with AI. Machine learning engineers and AI engineers, they work on building AI systems, and something that I feel like it will be very important soon is people working on the ethical side of AI, ethical AI specialists, because as you know, there are many ethical concerns with AI. So we need people to address these concerns. So I believe that there could be jobs related to that, and there are many jobs that's going to open, creating a lot of jobs. Something like um, people creating automate. It's going to open also automation jobs. How to use AI to automate the tasks. There need to be people that to do that. There needs to be people that automate tasks. And yeah, so these are the jobs that it could create. Some of the jobs that it create, and it's actually going to help with other jobs as well. It's not just going to create jobs; it's going to help with jobs. Like it's going to help, for example, doctors. It's going to help them create a diagnosis. Um, AI could help with that. It's going to help with digital marketing. It's going to help people be more productive. So they're going to produce better output. And yeah, there are many things that's going to help with.
Absolutely. And I already am using some of the functions of AI, especially automation is very useful. And well, with Google Gmail, we know that it's also very useful. It can fill in some forms for you much faster. Now, Sohalia, we know that you're working on the projects at your company. Uh, is it difficult to change the mindset of those people who were always using, let's face it, I don't know, some very old fashioned style technology, and they are not going to give in? How do you convince them? What is the process of moving from the old school to the new school?
So actually, I feel like this is something with many companies, especially the companies that were built like founded a long time ago, is that they already have a system and the system that they're working with, and no, the system is working. So they think, why do I need to change it? And the way to convince them is basically you need to talk in their language. If you keep mentioning AI, they won't know what the benefit is. You need to tell them how is it going to help the company, what savings is it going to create, what's the loss that it's going to create, what's the loss is going to help with, and this is how basically I think you need to do. You need to maybe work on creating a presentation that explains how AI could be leveraged to help them, and what are the savings that they're going to make if they use this thing. And actually, people are pretty scared of AI because AI is pretty unpredictable at the moment sometimes, and especially also security concerns. So this is something that it should be taken step by step. Um, like for example, it's not allowed in many companies, if not most of them, that for ChatGPT to be used as in using the company data in ChatGPT. So this is a security concern, and this is something that people are still working on. Sometimes some companies actually create like internal internal GPT applications for the certain company. So so these are basically the things that people are afraid of, the security reasons, and how is it going to benefit the company. So what you need to focus on is trying to show the your managers or people, your colleagues, how AI will help, how are they going to help them in what they are doing.
Mhm. Well, we've heard about the bias, which is quite a big threat, especially for minorities, because, for example, given the fact that there is many developments but not enough data, quite often data is being tested on white males. Whereas in order to have the broader data, you need to have more people involved and more founders of AI applications involved. So also the other thing is, I think we've seen and we've heard of many governments afraid of AI. Why do you think there is a threat in terms of governmental or issues for some countries?
So what you said, it's very true. There's a lot of bias in AI. Um, there are some data that's available for some certain group of people that's not available for the others, and this is something that I've also some trouble that I've been facing with some projects I've been working on, like for example finding data sets in English but not in Arabic. So this is something that we actually need to work on to find more data, and eth- uh, it poses a huge problem, especially a lot of ethical questions arises. And like you said, this is why a lot of governments are afraid of that, because um, it can make a lot of biased decisions if it's trained on, like you said, some white males, and it's not trained on females. How are we gonna make decisions based on that? It's not reliable. A biased model is basically a very bad model. It's not reliable. It's I feel that it's better to use a model with or an AI model basically with a lower accuracy than a model that has a very high accuracy but towards a certain group of people. And this has a lot of room for improvement. Um, there are a lot of talks about how we can improve these data sets, and a lot of people are trying to collect more data sets. And there is actually a paper that I've been reading recently. It was a paper by Google. It's called Translatron, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Three. And one of the interesting things that I found in it, it's that it addresses the lack of data for it's basically it works on languages. So there are some languages that don't really have a lot of data for them. So this is an issue. So what this paper proposes is how can I train my model using a certain data and then trying to tweak it basically to help with the other data. So this is something that a lot of companies are working on, and it's something that I'm also looking forward to understand more about. It's a paper that I've read recently, and uh, it's something that companies like Google are also struggling with, especially in languages. As you can see, sometimes translations are better in one language, but very terrible in others. So this paper addresses that, and it's a continuous area of development. We're trying to find more ways. How can we face that issue? How can we build algorithms and models that can overcome this issue, that can work on smaller sets of data. Like something that can be done is training a model on basically like maybe a group of people, which have a huge amount of data, and then taking that model and tweaking it a bit with a smaller set of data of the other group. So this could be one of the things to do, and there's a lot of research going around that area.
It's really fascinating. You mentioned the AI with project with AI bias, and I can think of one great project which had a huge accuracy. It had about 93% of accuracy when it comes to face recognition. But if you went deep down into the specifics, it turned out that accuracy for white males was very high, whereas for the darker the skin color was, the more female features, it was less and less accurate, up to like 20-30%, down to 20-30% accuracy. Now, Sohaila, we have another question from Jane. She's actually mentioning it's very interesting. Yes, totally agree that it is a concern and threats is a concern. Interesting. How can we ensure that AI is developed ethically?
So the most important thing to ensure that is training it on data from different groups. It's not just about people, it's also it has many concerns. For example, uh, if we're doing a flooding forecasting, we're forecasting the flood. We need to get, for example, for working on floods in India, the data could be different than floods in the US. There could be different than floods in other countries, maybe floods in Saudi Arabia. Um, so this is something that we need to work on to ensure AI is developed ethically. We need to make sure that the problem that we're trying to solve is the groups of people that we're trying to help. We need to have the data for them. But for example, if you're doing a model for people in the US only, this is your target users or target data. You don't need to get data from people from all around the world. So the most important thing is to know what your problem is and who are the people you're addressing, and what's the data that you need, and to be able to collect them, to be able to ensure that you're getting data from basically all the groups that are needed. Like Beata mentioned, the model, one of the models that have actually been trained on white men. Obviously, we've heard of smartwatches. In the beginning, some smartwatches were actually trained only on white men. So, and then they were actually released. Um, and then when people with darker skin tones began using it didn't give accurate results, and it was a huge, huge, huge issue. And this was one of the ethical problems. Uh, you didn't take into account the other people that will be using it. You didn't take into account that there's another group of people that you'll be using it, even though you're selling it to them. So they went back. They collected more data of people from different skin colors, both males and females, and they improved the model. They trained the model on this data, and they released it again. These smartwatches, and it was basically better. So you need to work on finding who will you be serving, and make sure that you get their data.
Well, it's very interesting because basically AI mimics human behavior, and as we know, not all humans behave ethically. So it is important to have must be that AI is fair, consistent, interpretable, transparent, and resilient, and there is some governance. So is it up to one person, or is it up to a couple of people who look after AI projects? What would be the ideal solution for any AI project?
I feel like or I believe there's a lot of people that should be involved in an AI project. For for example, if we're talking about smart vehicles or autonomous vehicles, self-driving cars, we have the AI, the developer, and we have the company itself, and obviously um we also need people from the government to help with that because there are some ethics also with self-driving cars, and this is still a problem that people are thinking about. Is that, for example, if you're driving and or actually the car is driving since it's a self-driving car, and there it's sure that there will be an accident because maybe someone the car is doing what it already learned and doing what it has been trained to do, but something unexpected happened, and it has an option either to keep going how it was going and crash and injure the person that's inside, or swerve and the person inside will be safe but some other person in another car will be injured. So this poses a question: how are we going to do, who's going to be responsible? So this is something that a lot of people should be involved in to be able to talk about the rules. There should be rules imposed. You can't just make a self-driving car and put it on the streets. No, there need to be um, the government needs to be involved to and the traffic and safety controls need to be involved. The AI developer needs to be involved, and this is why I believe that there could be a role called AI people, someone that works in the AI ethics part, to be able to make sure that all of these people are on the same page and we're all following what should we and the AI model or AI solution is doing what it's supposed to be do ethically. So it's not just the AI developer that's doing the thing. No, because there are also obstacles around them. So there are a lot of people involved in that.
Well, we need to also tackle the problem of AI bots who spread fake news. And we've seen a couple of people who jump on these news and they repeat that. And it's very difficult because it's got this snowball effect of misinformation. How do we tackle that? Can AI help in navigating and finding these fake news?
Yeah, it could actually help. You could have noticed sometimes on things like Instagram and Facebook, sometimes there are bots that post some random stuff, try to post controversial stuff, and this is definitely not good. And actually, you can build an AI model that faces that could detect this. For example, Instagram sometimes maybe auto deletes some comments from things that or comments that detects that it could be an AI, so it deletes it. So this is the something that a lot of social media platforms have been doing, and it's not also just comments; it's also sometimes images. Sometimes people use another person's image and tries to manipulate it with AI, and we could actually use an AI to battle that. We could use an AI to detect. This is something called deep fakes. That's there's an image that looks very very real. However, it's made by AI. But however, some AI could detect that deep fake and be able to tell you, hey, this is a deep fake. This is not an actual person. This is not made. This is not a real picture. and we could use AI to detect such things, and we could use AI to battle AI. So this is something that could be done, because sometimes when there's a picture, you can sometimes not tell if this is a real picture. Is this an AI made picture? Especially now, since AI is evolving, all with this generative AI and all these new things, and the images just look so real and they look very convincing. So this poses a huge threat. So a lot of companies have been working on creating AI to battle AI.
Well, there would be another threat, though, if we have AI battling AI. How do we stop that battle when, we know that one is good, one is bad, but, sometimes it's the autonomy that can be scary, because we need to have some mechanism to stop the battle, or some element of control, in terms of navigating AI, to make sure that it doesn't battle the wrong enemies. We've seen not only images. Actually, today I've seen Johnny Cash, the 50s singer who was singing "I'm a Barbie Girl." So there is so many, interesting projects, people speaking during some conference, and that's really fascinating how this world evolves. However, I'm mindful of the time passing. So Halia, I wanted to ask you, how is your university professors? How do they cope with AI generated work? Can they
So
recognize?
I guess some could. This is something, the AI generated work is pretty new with the rise of generative AI. It's something that's new. It's something that still poses a threat, because we're still working to battle it. So I guess, yeah, some university professors could be doing research on that specific topic, but I'm actually not aware of a uni professor in my university working on that at the moment. There could be, though.
Behind the scenes, not telling you though.
Probably.
Probably. So we talked about accuracy, and I think it's worth to mention the fact that you cannot solely rely on AI and believe it blindly, right? Because sometimes AI can be wrong. Do you know any examples?
Yeah, actually, AI could you could have like a model or an AI model that gives you high accuracy, but this accuracy is deceiving, because, as an example, we could have a model that predicts if a patient has cancer or not, and this model has an accuracy of 90%. And well, we could say, oh, this is good. 90% is actually considered good, and we could say, okay, yeah, we can go on with that model. But then after we deploy that model, after we put it to life, we find out that an issue that people that actually have cancer, we predict that they do not have cancer. So this is something that happens, and the reason that happens, because sometimes you have data that is skewed. Like, as an example, more people don't have cancer. There are less people that have cancer than the people that do. And so AI could just basically, okay, yeah, I'm just going to predict that. I'm going to predict mostly that he doesn't have cancer. So this is very dangerous, actually. This is really dangerous, because what if actually someone has a disease and you predict that they don't have the disease? Yeah, it has a high accuracy, but it poses a threat. So not only we shouldn't only look at accuracy, because, like I said, uh, the data that we have could be for a specific disease, but that disease is rare, and most people don't have that disease. So the model just goes, yeah, I'm gonna predict that person does not have it. And what we need to look on, what we need to look at as well, is for the people that do have the disease. does the model accurately predict that they do, or does the model just assumes that they do not? And yeah, this is something that we should be working on because, like I said, accuracy is very, very deceiving, and you need to understand more about what is it predicting and why is it predicting that. And you need to look at the different classes that it's predicting. Uh, like I said, someone has a disease and someone does not have a disease. If someone has a disease, uh, is it predicting that he does actually have a disease, or is it predicting that he does not? And if someone does not have a disease, is it predicting that he has a disease, or is it predicting that he does not have a disease? So
It's
this is some.
almost like looking at Google when you have some symptoms and you're trying to decipher and find out what's wrong with you, and then all of a sudden it suggests that you're dying, and you still need to have a doctor visit and don't rely only solely on technology.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. So we talked about ethical AI. We talked about the risk associated with artificial intelligence. And now I wanted to ask you, Sohalia, are you working on any exciting projects right now?
Yeah, so I'm actually working on a couple of AI related projects. One of the projects that I've been working on is basically translating um the videos live, translating what you're saying live, and to different languages with keeping the tone and keeping the lip sync, because sometimes you could see, for example, if you're watching a movie that's dubbed, and a movie basically maybe it's in Turkish, but you're watching it translated into English. But the lip syncing is very inaccurate, and the voices seem very off. You could definitely tell that this is this is not the actor speaking. So this could help with that, and adding to that, it also could help with communication. For example, if I'm in an online meeting with someone from the other side of the world, but we're speaking different languages, we have different accents, so there's a language barrier. We don't really understand each other. So what we could do is use this. What I'm working on is basically having AI translate what I'm saying live. Like, for example, if I'm talking to someone and someone that only understands Arabic, and I'm talking in English, and for example, if I don't know Arabic, and I'd basically use AI to translate my video for him in Arabic with my voice, my tone, with my actual lip movement. So this could be helpful with the language barriers.
That's really exciting to hear how much we can go further with AI. And as Mark Zuckerberg says, in a world that's changing so quickly, the biggest risk you can take is not taking any risks at all. I'm glad that you're taking risks and you're maneuvering your skills at work as well as during studies. Now, I wanted to ask you, what is your number one book that you wish you read before you started your career?
So I'd actually say it's Atomic Habits by James Clear. I have it right next to me. This one. I believe that it's very important to have habits. Like when I was younger, I used to be very spontaneous. I used to be very random. Um, with I used to obviously have some habits, maybe going for swimming practice or squash practice, sometimes studying at night, and all of that. But it wasn't very consistent. And now that I have more responsibilities. I have more work to do. I realized habits are very, very, very important, and it also not just important to get on with your day. It's important to get things done. You need to have habits in order to be consistent with what you do. You need to have habits to be consistent with your learning. Like, for example, if someone wants to learn how to code, you need to have a habit maybe of having an hour a day at a certain time, maybe an hour a day at 6 p.m. Every day at 6 p.m., I'm going to learn, for example, German. So habits are very important. And actually, after reading this book, I used to have trouble with being consistent with habits. I used to make like a table of what I'm gonna do for like the whole next day. Like from 9 to 10, I'm gonna do this. From 10 to 11, I'm gonna do that. And but then it just feels so overwhelming. It feels like if I miss something out of them, I feel very discouraged. And I've set very high expectations for myself, and I don't meet these expectations. So I go into a loop of like, um, okay, I'm just going to skip that day. And this is not what you're supposed to do. And you're actually supposed to have start your habits bit by bit. And this is something that the book has taught me. This is something that the book has helped me with and helped me realize that habits are hugely habits, and being consistent with them are very, very, very important in your career, in your life, and also with your family. You need to have a habit with spending time with your family. You need to have habits with having quality time with people that you love. And habits are basically very important to organize your day and reach your goals.
Habits, the book has been mentioned before, I have to tell you. Atomic Habits has been recommended by some of our guests before. Madonna Vambua, as I recall, also talked about the breaking the bad ones and having an easy and proven way to build good habits, and make sure that you stick to them. Now, as Eleanor Roosevelt once said, women are like tea bags. We don't know our true strength until we are in hot water. So, in life, how are you in hot water? How are you brewing?
Oh, this is a very interesting quote. I really like that one. It's my first time hearing it actually. I'm actually one of the people that learns more if I'm thrown into the hot water. I become more energized. I enjoy that stress. I enjoy the being in hot water and uh, being thrown there to learn, because it's easier to learn when you're thrown into something when you're facing difficulties. You you don't have any other excuse. You need to learn it. Like so actually it's it's something that I really like. And yeah, I find that as a very big opportunity to learn. Like if I'm thrown into a task that I don't know anything about, I'm facing so much difficulty with. It's my first time doing it, but it's also at the same time it's exciting because it's an opportunity to learn. And I spend time researching about it to be able to navigate what am I going to do, because um, I don't have any idea about it. And and then I'll try to break it up into like smaller tasks and keep
Correlates
going with
very
that.
well with your other quotation, because when we ask you to prepare for us some life lesson quote, you mentioned a ship in a harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are made for. Can you tell us about that quote and the other quote that is really relatable to you?
So yeah, both of these quotes, also the second one, that what has reached you was never meant to miss you, and what has missed you was never meant to reach you, and by Prophet Muhammad. And also the ship in harbor is safe, and but this is not what the ships are made for. I feel like both of these quotes complete each other, because um, for the ship in harbor quote, I feel like if you stay in your comfort zone, you're gonna be happy, you're gonna be comfortable, obviously, but you're not going to be doing anything new if you keep doing the same thing. If you're going to keep doing the same habits that you do, you're not learning, and you're never going to learn in your comfort zone. This is a never. This is a case. You're never going to learn in your comfort zone. You need to go out of your comfort zone, and you, basically the way to learn is to be uncomfortable. And but also you need to keep in mind that yeah, you do get out of your comfort zone, but sometimes, for example, you get out of your comfort zone to apply for a job, but you don't get that job. And this is where the second quote comes in. And what has reached you was never meant to miss you, and what has missed you was never meant to reach you. Is that there, as long as you did what you could, as long as you tried to learn, you went out of your comfort zone, as long as you did so, definitely there is going to be a payback for that. Definitely, um, like if you don't get accepted into a job that you've wanted, you're going to get another job. You've because you've worked, you're going to get another one. Like I obviously have applied to a lot of internships that I have not been that I have been rejected from. But at the end of the day, uh, I kept understanding that, yeah, okay, this maybe was not meant to be for me. And when something else comes, like for example, when you finally land the job that you've wanted, you need to also break out of the, okay, maybe I'm not good enough for this. Maybe like, you know, the imposter syndrome that you get. Because this was meant for you. Like you got the job, so that means that you're fit for it. So this is something that I remind myself sometimes. I've been having I could have these imposter syndrome thoughts, but at the end of the day, you've got it, and that means you're capable. So
That
these are
really
two quotes that I keep
leads me
thinking about.
to another quotation by Richard Branson, who says, "Opportunities are like a bus. There always will be another one."
Definitely, yeah.
There you go. So Halia, I wanted to ask you the question that we started asking during the pandemic, and we continue to ask. If you had opportunity to travel anywhere in the world and have a private breakfast with anybody in the world, who would you choose and where would you invite them to?
I would actually choose Jan LeCun. He is one of the pioneering figures in AI. He's one of the really important people that in AI that made a huge difference and contributed a lot to AI. And I would love to have a breakfast with him in a local or a traditional Egyptian food in breakfast in Egypt. And I feel like it would be like in maybe in Tunis, a village, small village called Tunis in Fayoum. It's very calm. It's very beautiful, and yeah, I would love to have a chat with him and understand more about his thoughts in AI, his journey in AI, and what he thinks about AI in general. His the future of AI, and he's done so much research. He's done so many contributions, and it will definitely be a huge honor to speak with him.
Fantastic. We wish you every success and hopefully you will have a chance to meet with him personally. I also am hopeful that one of these days we will be able to meet somewhere in physical location, allowing for Google Women Tech Makers to set it up sometime in the future.
Definitely.
So Halia was a guest today, and that's it. And there is another quote I wanted to mention. Artificial intelligence is the only remedy for natural stupidity, as CJ Cherrick says. And that's it from episode 119 of the PhD live stream. Thanks to our guest, Sohaila Diab. To stay updated and ensure you never miss a positivity hack delivered, follow Women on IT to turn on notifications and be alerted once a video has been released. We have no episode next week because it's 1st of November. I hope you're gonna have a fantastic time. I am sending you greetings from beautiful Nottingham in the beautiful countryside in England, and thank you so much for our great commenters and great questions from Jane, Natalie Lianta, Olga Vasina, and Mary. It's been a pleasure. I hope that you will always stick to the positivity quote. And if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude, as Maya Angelou says. Today is your day to hug the future, hug the positivity you want. Thank you.